everybody's enjoying themselves for today. Welcome to Enliven Radio. I'm your host, the one and only Mr. LP, Stephen Sykes, joining you today with Mr. Sincere. Mr. Sincere, how are you doing today, Mr. Sincere?
So far, so good. Long day at work.
Long day at work. We all had that. You enjoying the weather?
So far, it can be a little bit warmer.
I can understand that. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves around the world, wherever you may be listening. First off, I wanted to say, those of you who joined our first show, I want to thank you, and I want to also thank you again for joining us this week. It's going to be a great and wonderful show today for you. First and foremost, I want to open up the show with a small prayer. As I mentioned last week, as a promise to my grandmother and to myself with the good Lord for blessing me with the opportunity, I'm going to open up every show with a small prayer. So feel free to join me. Dear Lord, I thank you very much for the opportunity to bless everybody with the kind words and just a great opportunity to help share knowledge and information with everyone, Lord. I thank you for your strength and courage to get through the days, and everybody who's struggling through some hard times, sick and shut in. And may forth each day be blessed upon you, Lord, and we take each moment to cherish and be grateful for what we have. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, everybody. First off, I want to just give you a reintroduction for those of you who may have not heard from us the first show. My name is Stephen Sykes, Mr. LP. I am the host of Enliven Radio. I've been involved in community actions and activist type of work for many years. Most of you may know me through IT work and some other community-related activities. And those of you who know me through just talking and also Facebook, I'm always involved in a variety of social things. And I just want you to, take an opportunity to share some knowledge and information and bring out some about change in the community. A lot of times there are various topics that we don't like to talk about, especially in the minority community. And I wanted to use this opportunity to help educate us a little bit and use the opportunity to share with your family and friends and what have you, where they're a little bit different than the norm. And we just want to make sure you enjoy yourselves. First off, I want you to hit us up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Enliven Radio, ENLIVEN Radio. Also, you can hit us up on the mixlr.com/Enliven Radio. And also, I want to thank everybody for Legacy Internet Radio. And the website is as it's spelled and it's told, legacyinternetradio.com. We're part of a good group here that has a lot of good topics and great shows for us on Mondays from 7 to 9. We have Ain't No High Steppin' with Marcus J. Today you have our show, and tomorrow you have a good show with Jay Grizzy and Larissa P. from the Green Room 2.0 from 7 to 9 as well. And take time out to listen to our shows. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at enlivenradio, ENLIVEN radio @gmail.com. Also, you can hit us up on our Facebook page, and Mr. Sincere is keeping watch, and he's making sure if you have any comments, he'll let us know and join us in. The next thing I want to go over is one of the bigger topics of today I want to go over is mental health. A lot of people are struggling with a variety of different things for just different issues. Sometimes we struggle in understanding how to cope with these issues. Sometimes we may need support. Some of us may be going through depression, hard times, understanding how do we handle different things. And there's a lot of different myths, rumors, sometimes just a variety of different things, and we owe it to ourselves. And there's a fair amount of culpability that we need to take in terms of educating ourselves and helping others. And today, with us, I want to thank Ms. Candace Connor from Connections for Life Counseling, LLC. And also I want to thank Mr. Robert Scott from Family and Children Treatment Services, LLC, here in the Richmond, Virginia location. How are the both of you doing today?
All right, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
All right, I'm glad that you were able to join us today. First and foremost, Ms. Connor, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am originally from the New Jersey area.
Oh, what part?
Not recently, but I moved to Virginia As a little girl, I didn't get a chance to grow up in Richmond City. I had to grow up on a farm. So it was a big difference coming into a new area. I attended Virginia State University, obtaining my bachelor's and master's degree, and now I am licensed therapist with the Virginia Board of Counseling.
Okay, cool. You said you came from New Jersey. What part of New Jersey?
Plainfield, New Jersey.
Plainfield, uh-oh. And then you came from the city or suburban to a farm here.
Yes.
In what city in the farm?
South Hill, Virginia.
South Hill. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm not going to say nothing about that right now. I'm going to leave that alone. Shout out to everybody down in Martinsville and Henry County in Virginia. Also, I want to shout out to the family in New Jersey. I just want to take time out to say that as well. And you, Mr. Scott, where are you from?
Mine's a little bit in reverse. I'm originally from Alabama.
Alabama.
Tuskegee, Alabama.
Uh-oh, it's some history here. I know you can tell us a lot about different things.
I attended Tuskegee University. There's a lot I have done. Tuskegee University, military, law enforcement. Did a lot. So I ended up, coming from the South and ended up on the East Coast, which we consider, Virginia the South, but it's the different South. I say that.
Not as deep-rooted.
It's different. I will say that.
There's some places in Virginia I can tell you it looks not too much different than Alabama or Mississippi.
South Hill, Virginia.
But a lot of people, it's a misconception about Alabama. I'm going to be honest with you. Alabama is more so, we just talk Southern.
Okay, just Southern.
You got some of the same problems that you see here in Richmond that you have in Alabama. You got some cities that are a little smaller, but it's not that much different.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people see it on TV. What's his thing? Forrest Gump. That type. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. I tell anybody, there's a lot of history down there. Go one time in your life, go and visit, especially Tuskegee, Alabama, Selma, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama. Those particular places, a lot of history.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with the ladies first. Please forgive me. I'm a respectful man. So I have to start with the ladies, but please forgive me. I wanted to say that, tell me a little bit about Connections for Life Counseling, ma'am.
Connections for Life Counseling opened up in 2007. And I initially started out doing contract work for the local CSBs like Petersburg and Chesterfield County, working with youth and families in their home environments. From there, I talked with Mr. Scott and said, I want to do outpatient.
Okay.
So we started the outpatient portion where we had to get with the insurance companies and so forth. And between working the private contracts, I was doing outpatient work, and I brought on other therapists as well. Another thing that Connection for Life Counseling does is groups. We have a women's support group called PINK. We have an anger management group, and we are developing a parenting group, but it's not going to be your typical parenting group. We're going to focus on certain mental health issues to assist the parents with dealing with behavior problems with their children.
Okay.
So it's not going to be more of a open forum where the parents should just voice in all their concerns. It's going to be some educational piece where they can learn about the different behavioral diagnoses such as ADHD, ODD, the mood disorders, depression, in their children as well as in themselves. They'll know how to parent. We also provide clinical supervision for any up-and-coming candidates who have been approved by the Board of Licensing to sit for the LPC exam. So I have interns, supervisees, like I said, doing groups, and also providing clinical services to other providers, such as family and children treatment services, as well as doing the outpatient work.
Okay. Now, when you do these different things and activities, when you mention the parents, are you finding do you have to, let's say, go find the parents, or are you referred from the state or the school, or how are the parents able to find you, or you find the parents?
A lot of the times they come from all over.
Okay.
They are self-referrals. They may come from the court system. They may come from social services. Actually, a lot of my clients have come by word of mouth from the work I have done in the community, whether it's through other co-workers that I've worked with in the past, and me working with clients and then pass it on to their peers and so forth. So that's another way that I get referral sources or clients into the office.
Do you, what are some of the issues that you would say more so now that you're, well, let me take a step back. You're working mostly more with the parents versus the children.
Actually, I'm working with both.
Oh, both, okay. And your children of all ages from up to high school?
Yes.
Or okay.
They're starting at age 5. Mm-hmm. I've had worked with children younger than that, depending on, the age of the child, whoever parent I'm servicing at that time. A lot of the times I end up working with the children, and what I find is that children usually just don't wake up and begin to act a certain way. So in order to assist the child, you have to get involved with the parents.
Okay. So now with the parents, are you finding much resistance with the parents in terms of wanting to receive the help, or are you finding assistance, more wanting to, even though they're referred to the court? Let's say I'm a young parent, 24, 25, I have a 2 or 3 year old. Some things happened. I went to college. I may have a child out of wedlock, or maybe within wedlock, and some things didn't work well. And I'm a little angry. I'm a little upset. How am I to, how is your program going to help me when I had such and such, my mother told me this, aunts told me this, where have you? How do you combat with those preconceived notions?
One thing that I do with parents is to first bring awareness. Okay. We can't change anything if we're not aware of some of the things that we're doing. Some of the things that parents deal with, it's a habit, it's a pattern. So you have to first bring awareness to say, this is something we may need to change. Have you thought about this? Mm-hmm. So when I'm working with the parents, I may hear a lot of complaints about their children. Okay. And when you look at typical 2 and 3 year old or any typical child behavior that may be going on, these parents are overwhelmed due to their own generational things that they have dealt with. Some of them have been abused. Some of them have mental health issues that have never been addressed. So the typical thing of a child crying or doing age-appropriate behavior, they become easily frustrated. And it's not so much because the kids have this behavior problem, but they're frustrated with their own things, their own identity, their own struggles. So one thing that I do is first bring awareness to the women. And we begin to start from there and looking at their self-esteem, their self-concept, and also looking at those patterns. I go over a poem called "Children Live What They Learn." Okay. And in that poem, they're discussing different things that you teach your kids just through basic interaction on a day-to-day basis. So that's one of the ways that I try to address the parents and bring awareness to first identifying what's going on with them.
Okay, no problem. Now, the question, now that once you are involved in this, is this being funded by insurance, the state, or how is, let's say I'm a young mother, young father, I need help, but I don't have medical insurance, which a lot of people have today. What is the way that you might say they'd be able to receive help? Is this free? Is this charity?
One thing that Connection for Life does, we do accept all form of insurance, whether that's Medicaid or private insurance. We also have cash paying clients. However, we do pro bono work for children and families who can afford the services at that point in time. So it just depends. Sometimes you can have the court system pay for certain things or social services, but we do, like I said, provide pro bono work to assist clients and families.
Okay, cool. And this is just within which region? Just Richmond City, or
it depends on where the case is. Right now, I travel as far as Hanover to Petersburg to South Hill, Virginia, to South Hill, Virginia. So basically, that little 95 stretch, 85 stretch.
So we need to give you a gas card.
Pretty much.
Okay, not a problem. And Mr. Scott, how are you doing today?
All right.
All right. Could you tell me a little bit about your division, sir?
Well, we have 3 different components. We have intensive in-home counseling, we have mental health support services, and we have therapeutic mentoring. So basically, we have 3 different things. With intensive in-home, it starts, the ages begin 4 to 21 years of age, mental health support, 18 to elderly. Mentoring, we've been playing around with it because at first we was gonna, start at 4, and we thought about 16. So we said, well, let's just try to help everybody. So we go from 4 to elderly with that as well.
Okay.
A lot of times, a lot of people focus on the money, but we're really out here to help. The bills can't be paid by themselves, of course, but at the same time, we try to give back more by, like Ms. Connor said, we do a lot of pro bono work. We intensive in-home mental health support is funded through Medicaid, but sometimes we try to get out from under those stipulations because, like Ms. Connor said before, she has all insurances, but you have some people that have Anthem.
Okay.
They have Cigna, different regular insurance companies, and they don't qualify for the programs. So what we try to do is, we get those families in, and we'll try to do what we can and figure out a treatment plan that's gonna, help them too. Can't have everybody, but we do try to help some.
Is this something where they would need to come to you every day, or
Well, my particular program on my side, we actually go out to the home. It's rare that they come in. If they come into the office, more so that the house is probably has a lot of distractions or whatnot, and that's the only time they probably would come actually into the office. But they do come into the office at times. We try to set the computer up because we sat down one day and we said a lot of people go to the libraries, and you have to share the time. I understand what the library is trying to do, trying to give everybody equal amount of time. So we set up a computer room so they can come by, try to, do job applications or whatnot, and, things of that nature.
do you find in your area where do you find that you're getting a lot of help from the community or people overall that's helping your endeavor, or is this just something you just see as needed from this as a need basis?
You put me on the spot with that.
I come at it. I try to be nice.
I'll say this.
Okay.
I'll be politically correct.
And you don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm gonna be honest now.
Okay.
That's one thing I promote. Honestly.
Okay. I just need you to be honest.
You have to find like-minded people.
Okay.
In order for this to work. A lot of people, and when I say people, I mean other providers. I mean different agencies that are involved. I guess everybody has the mindset of, I'm the better, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, all of us have the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are governed under the state. Now, I do believe that every counselor, every therapist have their own style. That should be the only difference, that you have your own style.
Gotcha.
But that goal should be the same. So as far as support, it depends, honestly. It depends. You have to interact with, like I said, like-minded people. What brought me and Ms. Connor together, we had the same vision. I grew up like some of these kids. That's why I always say, a a lot of people sleep on Alabama.
Do you find it help that, if you, like you said, you grew up with this, do you find it better from somebody who can relate? Or let's say I'm just someone in the Midwest, farm person, I just come in, I want to help kids, but
it's a hood everywhere.
Gotcha.
You got a hood everywhere.
I understand.
You got poverty everywhere. You have depression everywhere.
Okay.
So I don't look at it like that. I think it needs to be a combination of both. I think you need to have experience. I think you need to be able to relate. And I also believe that, me personally, I think anybody can be trained and educated to do something. Okay. You just got to be willing to receive it. But it's easier for those who have experienced certain things and have walked a certain walk, talked a certain talk. But other than that, yeah, I do believe that you have to relate. If you don't relate to your client, they're not going to trust in you. You're not going to build that rapport. You're not going to get anything done.
What do you, and now I'm going to hit y'all with a few questions. Well, first off, Mr. Sincere, you got anything you want to join in this?
Well, my question, first of all, was what was it that possessed you all to go this route? I mean, everybody has a certain thing that happened in the past or something that they witnessed that would cause them to go into this field. And I just wanted to know what you all felt or the reasons why you all decided to go into this.
For me,
ladies first.
Ladies first.
You can take a deep breath.
Okay. As a little girl, my mother and grandmother said she's been here before and she's going to be somebody famous. So I experienced some things, too, that probably our clients today have gone through. Me coming from New Jersey to South Hill was actually a culture shock. I'm coming from a place where there was more unity, particularly amongst the African American, where I'm coming to a place where, I'm just going to be honest, where I could tell, and maybe this, that the African American community in that particular area were not as together as I thought they should be.
Now, that's kind of funny because I found it not together both sides. I found it a little bit more together in terms of it wasn't necessarily just by race, but the community in Martinsville, we were a little bit together because we didn't have anything else but each other, so we had to make it work. But
in South Hill, in South Hill, that's what you would think, but actually, if you want me to be honest,
yes.
Willie Lynch is still alive.
Amen.
Okay, Willie Lynch is still alive, so I had to adapt to educated black people who would not advocate for themselves. I was told by a Caucasian teacher the reason why she didn't teach about Africa or black history is because we sat around and did nothing. Here, my mother was a correctional officer. My father was one of the only black farmers that is still left in South Hill, Virginia.
Whoa.
So in this particular classroom, there were other African American students whose parents were very prestigious in that community, coming from an educational background, being a principal, being a teacher, being a nurse. You were looked upon a certain way in that area.
So you had a certain class that
yes.
you tried to esteem.
And what I found funny was, and very shocking, and I felt like an outcast for a long time, was that my mother and father were the only people that came to that school to address what was said, not only to me, but to 20 some odd other students in the classroom. Whereas parents who could have made a difference, where people would have stopped and listened to what they were saying, never opened their mouth. So it was a culture shock for me, where I'm coming from a place where people are more outspoken. They can be polite and impolite at some time, but you're going to know what they're thinking. People can be assertive and aggressive. But what I found when I moved here was a lot of passive-aggressive behavior. So I had to adjust to that.
That is such a powerful way you put that. I appreciate it.
So that was one of the things that.
I go there.
So on top of, like I said, feeling like an outcast as a little girl in this community because I'm outspoken, I'm challenging issues that, first of all, probably I shouldn't have been challenging at my age with the adults because of how we were being treated. So I knew it a long time ago that I was going to go to school for psychology. My sister said, Kenny, if you go back to your little high school memorabilia, you wrote all your plans down and you did it. So I initially wanted to work in forensic psychology with people like Jeffrey Dahmer, and I still like to watch ID now, but I got away from that and moved towards the mental health amongst children and families, and just also recognizing mental health within my own family.
Okay.
So that's what pushed me to continue to go further.
I'm sorry about that technical difficulties or somebody else. Hold on. Go continue. I'm sorry. Please bear with us, listeners. I apologize about that.
So, so I wanted to work with, like I said, people like Jeffrey Dahmer, but I realized that I wanted to work with children and their families because, like I said, the mental health issues that I had saw in my own family. And again, people taking that stereotype of, keep him in the basement, keep him upstairs.
Or just something's wrong with him.
Yes, so let's not address it.
Right, yeah.
Somebody put a root on him.
Put him under the stairs.
Somebody put something in his drink. No, it's called mental illness. It might be called bipolar. It might be called schizophrenia. It might be called you might just be getting on his nerves, too.
I can understand. And people are just not willing to speak up regarding that.
And to add to it, because we have this conversation all the time, my mother used to tell me all the time, be realistic about everything that you do. I believe in prayer all day.
Thank you.
But God also gave us that brain.
Free will.
And free will to say, okay, I need to get this done. I can't pray this just off him. I need to pray that God placed somebody in my life to help me with this situation. And a lot of people not educated when it comes to that. You don't have to have 22 different degrees. You just know that that's what a therapist is for. That's what a radio personality is for. A counselor. Whatever. Everybody have their lane to stay in. And I think without having that education, and I don't like to use ignorance, but it is what it is, but a lot of people, I'll go back, I'll be politically correct first. It is that Willie Lynch because, we don't educate ourselves. We believe, we stop right here. It's like that commercial where the guy said he's a supermodel. He said, well, how you know? The internet. He was saying the internet said. You believe everything from the internet, or whatnot, but it is what it is. But I'm going to turn it back over. I want to just comment on that because I know a lot of people that, you can tell them the sky is blue instead of them going out to investigate and look up. They might think it's purple, whatever you tell them. So, those are the type of things that we deal with, in the community. But I'm going to add something, too, when it's my turn.
You can go ahead, unless you're done, ma'am. Unless you're done, go ahead.
I guess, too, the piggyback off what she said was, when it comes to us educating ourselves, I came from and I'm going to educate y'all about Alabama because I'm tired of y'all up here in Richmond talking about Bama.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I don't like the football team either.
I'm sorry.
But when I moved here, I told everybody, don't sleep on Alabama. We've been dominating for how many years since you don't like the football team?
The last 4 years, 5. Unfortunately,
because your perspective very much interests me as well. Because your situation, you came from New Jersey, that overall had a little bit more money. South Hill has no money, any money. Excuse me. And your situation down south,
we just had education. We ain't had
no money.
It's
just pulling from the leaves. Exactly.
Resources. We'll say that.
Yeah, I've heard stories where, like in the mid '90s, when you had Bill Clinton in office, you still had books with Carter and president.
I'm gonna straighten that up for y'all. I'm gonna explain something to you. The African Americans.
Okay, thank you.
Had that in the books. Richmond is not that much different than down south. I guess, we're going to get down to it now. I'll use Richmond where I am, then I'll bring you down to Alabama.
Okay.
One thing that surprises me about, overall how people think, and I'm saying people, not just black, white, every race that's here in the Richmond area, metro area. anytime that you divide the city by repping something, that doesn't really mean nothing, because at the end of the day, when the out-of-towner comes, they see you as just Richmonders. Not, I'm from the south side, I'm from the north side, I'm from the west end, I'm from the east end, I'm from the far west end. A lot of people, they live it, and they turn it into something that it's not. And, you know, at first when I started working up here, I used to sit back and I'd be like, man, these kids something else. Till I started seeing 35, 40, 50, 55-year-olds doing the same thing. I understand why they had to do certain things, but one thing that I noticed about the African-American community, we don't like change.
I'm seeing that in a lot, and it just stuck in a certain way. And I fight very hard to get those changed. Too many times people tell me, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I believe you got to try something.
You got to do something.
And I'm like, you know, and I'm not saying all the ideas I've expressed worked, but at least I'd rather try versus just sticking
just
the
sit
same
there
way.
and just, you know, turn over and die. You know, just like one thing, too, you take our president, love him to death. But because we have Obama in the office, African Americans live by, you supposed to.
Oh, my goodness.
You owe me.
Exactly.
The blank man, you know, he trying to hold me back. No, you holding yourself back. Because I grew up in a racist area. I can tell you stories. I knew what I wanted to do when I was 5. I did everything but one. You know, so I don't care if you're blue, black, white, purple, gray.
I just want the job done.
You know, you do what you have to. You got to have some character. I mean, the way I grew up, back in the day, you know, it was nothing that you couldn't tell a person from Tuskegee. You know, you educated. You know, you promote education. You promote going back, bringing something back. But we're being squeezed to death by two major cities. To our left, Montgomery, Alabama. To our right, you know, it's Auburn, Alabama. And it's funny because how people do things down there, you know, I'll say this, is an understanding. You know, a lot of people say, oh, y'all just racist, this and that. Yeah, you're speaking on stuff that you read back in the day. Yeah, everybody racist. But that doesn't stop anything. You stop yourself from accomplishing something.
As long as you're willing to keep an open mind and move on.
You have to let it go. And because I'll say this, you know, and I love my people. I'm going to say that. I will tell you that in a minute.
Okay. I won't say nothing to them then.
I'm proud of them because a lot of things that African Americans have done that, you know, one thing I will promote down there when I was going to school, you know, they promoted Black history. They promoted, you know, knowing the real deal. I interact with a lot of kids here, and I'm going to say further north. Yeah, we're on the East Coast, but further north, it doesn't matter. See, it's Black history year-round down south. You know, here, you know, if they remember, it's February. I mean, and you take teaching. They took the power from the teachers.
That's a whole SOL.
It's an SOL. You taught to pass the SOL, and then after you go through all that, the kids don't know anything. We know people that are 18, 19 that has gone to school all year long, can't read. So, you know, that's something that my people, my family, my father, my mother, they weren't going to play.
See, and that's the thing that gets me so mad about things is because not only because there's no Child Left Behind Act and SOLs, part of it is like you're taking away the power from the teacher, like you said. And if you just want everybody to teach a certain way, then why are we hiring teachers? Put robots in there.
Yes, sir.
And then the other aspect of it is you know what's not being taught in school. So to me, that's where the parents need to also step up. Now, I understand it's a hard world. Parents got a whole bunch of other things to fight with. But still, it's your level of responsibility as a parent to still instill something. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. You're not going to cover it all.
It's called village. Yeah. Nobody has that village mentality.
But you can't tell me what to do with my child. You don't have a child.
Because we get caught up. I'll say this right here. I hate to do it, but
I want the honesty, sir.
Monkey see, monkey do. That's what it's called. You know, it's monkey see, monkey do. Nobody's trying to be individuals anymore in terms of standing for something.
Go ahead.
You know, you have to, you know, just because Miss Connor going to buy a $300,000-$400,000 house, it's not going to make Mr. Scott buy no $300,000-$400,000 house. Because Mr. Scott gonna look in his pocket to see if he can get it. If he can't get it, I'm gonna have to sell it for the 100 or the 50.
Can I come by your house, man? Can I come by your house?
I don't own that.
But
I don't own that yet.
That's the example of what I'm telling y'all. We're letting the TV educate our kids. You know, one thing that kills me about what I don't see.
Go ahead.
One thing that I don't see, they're allowing these kids to grow up fast, and then some of these parents, you know, they still want to be, you know, kids themselves. And I'm not talking about, you know, the kids, babies having babies. I'm talking about legitimate adults, 35, 40, you know, still operating like they are, you know, 17, 18. And, you know, we have to, again, that village mentality, you know, we throw away tradition, the wrong tradition. You know, so that's one of the things that I guess upsets me, and I'm passionate about just, you know, educating the young guys. Because, I mean, when you sit down and talk to some of the locals around here, some of the people that moved from up north, out west, you know, everybody, you know, it's different. You're like, oh, y'all don't do that? You know, you don't cross the river.
Exactly.
You know, why wouldn't you go to North Side if they got cheaper food on North Side, if that's on sale today? Man, I'm repping this thing to the fullest. And it doesn't mean nothing, you know. And it's like that everywhere. I just went home. It's like that at home. You sitting around here, you rather sit in your mama's house, not get your own. It's different if mama's sick.
See that
you gotta help mama.
Yeah, let me pause you for a second. First off, listeners, I do apologize for the construction noise. Beyond our control, something happened at the last minute, but we're working to get that under control. But please do bear with us. But I want to mention that I see a lot of kids now, and I'm going to call it like I say. I see a lot of punk.
That's what it is.
I'm sorry. I see a lot of punk men now. If mama's sick, and if some of these women's like, I don't care, just go visit mama. But look, if mama's sick, you got to go home and do your responsibility as a son or daughter to go take care of mama, grandma, whatever needs to be done. Now, outside of that, Now, I don't know if my grandma's listening, but she going to tell you in a minute, she ain't opening that door. I can come visit, but I can't stay. And she never raised me to be like, go back home.
It's independent.
Exactly.
That's
Nobody
another one of the
that.
issues that, in working with the women in outpatient, that we sometimes face, where especially mothers and their sons, I think sometimes the relationship looks as if it's not a mother and son relationship. It's more like the women are treating and embracing their sons to be their male peer, and even some of the moms embracing their female daughters to be their peer versus being their parent. So that's where a lot of the conflict comes in that, because then when you form those type of relationship with your children and they go into the community and that's how they treat other adults, and you getting these phone calls and these complaints because now we having problems, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that I have to change my relationship with my child in efforts to make sure that they're doing what they need to do.
They parent off guilt.
Yeah. And they parent out of emotion as well too, and situational.
Gotcha. Now I have a question with that. Now, why is it that, okay, what got us to this point of our parents want to be friends with their kids? Because I have a question.
Remember I said the tradition now.
But see, now here's the thing I don't understand about that, because in the past, now, I know times have changed, but parents were 12, 13 years old having kids, but they still weren't friends with their children. They got on they with their kids, but did whatever they could, stepped on it. You're going to learn how to cook, clean. Grandma told me how to sew. All these different things. Now, kids are not, thank God we're not having them at 12 anymore on the masses, but you're having these young children, but now it's like, okay, we want to be friends. What happened in 2012 versus the 1920s?
I'll give you a little bit just so you'll be able to answer that yourself.
Okay.
When you were growing up, how often did you watch TV when you was a kid?
I watched a lot, but I was restricted to what I could watch.
Okay. That's called what they place boundaries on certain things, right?
Yeah,
so they supervise you.
Right.
Okay, when that street light went out, where did you have to be?
You had to be inside.
If you weren't inside, what happened?
You don't want to know.
Okay. But did you have to worry about this right here?
Oh,
The
yes.
police coming over trying to arrest you. You know, we place laws in place thinking that, well, I'm going to put this law in place, this for everybody. You know, again, you have to individualize certain things, because now, if you got a parent that's beating a child to death for no reason, yeah, you're supposed to put stipulation on that. But I'm going to spank mine.
See, and I agree. Because I see a lot of parents are just too much of don't tell me what to do.
They telling their parents, shut up.
Exactly. I saw at the gas station the other day, the mother made her daughter get out and pump the gas. But soon as she didn't, you know, she was looking at me trying to holler and all this other stuff. And I just waved back being polite. And she, you know, I guess she was upset because I didn't give her any attention. You know why? Because I saw her, she just let her daughter just toss the piece of the receipt in her face and like, here, mama. Come on, let's go.
There's no respect.
No, that's like, first of all,
But parents not teaching that either.
Exactly. And then when you walk in the room, you say hello. You know, you walk out the room, or if you stay in the rooms, do something, but still be respectful, listen out, all these different things. And I had a parent get mad at me because you know, I said something to their son about me. Hey, you didn't say nothing hi to me. You didn't say anything. He's like, so I saw you. I said hi to you yesterday. And I say, no, you're going to say hi to me now. Then the mother was mad at me for saying, like, why are you talking to my son like that? And I'm like, I'm here. The father's not around or whatever. I'm not trying to take control, but I'm just being a friend. And it's like you said, it's a village. And we've gotten away from that. And then when we try, those of us who are trying to instill that mentality.
You're an outcast.
And I'm told I'm wrong, the Willie Lynch factor, all these different issues. And it's very sad.
I think, too, the difference is the reason why people are having children. Back in, you know, if you want to use 1920 as an example, you got to remember we're still coming from out of slavery and those different things.
Farm.
They had children to help work.
And so you
I mean, just to say what it is.
You know,
they
you
have them to
had
work.
children to rebuild your families and pull everything back together because everybody was stripped and separated. Whereas nowadays we're having babies to keep men.
Or women.
To get a check.
But vice versa, you know.
To get a check. To keep men.
And
get a check.
We're seeing both of those more.
To keep men, to get a check.
Get a check is very popular.
And that's the new thing now. And to have a friend or a peer. There's a lot of mothers and a lot of, not even mothers, there's a lot of dads as well who, again, that enmeshed boundary, and the child turns into more of your friend. And depending on how the child may view it, they looking like they're in a relationship with their parent. So that's why they're talking back to you and responding to you as such. Or then you may have a parent responding back to their kids. Instead of in a parental form, you responding back and forth like, you know, we sleeping together.
Exactly. We'll raise that. We for right now. Because the ad, what she said, to get the check, they're not thinking that you don't get that check once they turn 18. And what you gonna do after that?
Exactly. There's a life that you need to plan, and then you're setting up your child for failure because all they do is see you.
They see what you did,
what you can do to get that check every day versus how did I obtain that check? Did I work, or did I be a professional prostitute?
I came from a family of 6, 5 boys, 1 girl. I can honestly say they didn't get food stamps. We grew everything. Now, we start off in the projects now. You know, I always say every time I go to the project, I'm like, no, that's an apartment. We grew up in the projects. You know what I'm saying? You might look to your left, you might see a roach big as your shoe. You know, I'm talking about the cheese that when you put it on some heat, it just swell up. You got to pinch it to see where it's gooey. I mean, and if it touch you, you burn.
You telling some stuff. Telling some secrets.
So what I try to get people to do to understand too is because like I always tell people we have gotten too sophisticated. I'm gonna just say what it is. We have got too sophisticated. Ain't sophisticated at all. We think we can't do nothing. We don't want to work. They want to talk about the other. Ain't no jobs here. That's a lie. There's plenty of jobs. Because when I was growing up, you made a job. You too good to go pick cans up. You rather just starve and die.
I've gotten on plenty of parents.
You know, you won't cut grass.
I've gotten on.
I got allergies.
You know what? I'm going to tell you
That's
something.
popular right there. They don't want to go outside. Kids don't go outside now.
But see, here's the thing. Now, I understand there's some issues with jobs, and I understand that the youth unemployment is high, but find something. It may not register on the unemployment numbers, but still find something. Like you said, pick up cans, clean the community. Some of it may not even be where you're earning a monetary value, but you're earning a lifestyle value.
I can tell you 5 things that my daddy said we were going to do every time. Mm-hmm. We used to go to the elderly. They needed something cleaned out. Now, because we expect, nowadays we expect, I clean that lady house out, she didn't give me but $20. Well, how much you thought you was gonna get? She gave you something.
$20, maybe half their medicine money.
But see, they don't look at it like that. My father used to. It wasn't no negotiation. Go up there and cut your grandma and granddaddy yard. Go over here. The lady across. We didn't even know the lady name down the street because she didn't bother nobody. But we cut her grass too. It's called being a man. People think being a man because you get tall. Or you can curse. Being a man, you have to be a man and be a woman about everything that you do. It's called maturity.
Okay.
And a lot of people, we got immature parents. The system now is all about politics and money. Everybody think is race. It's about classes.
It's a class system.
It's a class system. It has always been. Mm-hmm. The people that's not thinking or thinking so shallow that they're thinking that it's just race. We in a social class system. That's all it is. But look at the kids now. How many kids did you get a cell phone?
No.
At about 8.
Nothing.
Did you even have a computer at 8?
No, we didn't.
If you did, it was in the house, and you better not do that unless you're doing some homework.
See, the thing is, I have a hard time understanding on some of this because I didn't get everything that I wanted because it was just financial. But I earned by good grades. I worked hard. I had a TV. I had a little cable box or whatever. But I'm not gonna lie. I watched some entertainment value, but I was Nova. I'm not gonna lie, I was a nerd. I was a Nova. If I wasn't involved with something with the high school or the church, I was reading.
That's not called a nerd. That's what your parents told you had to do because you weren't gonna be out there shooting, killing, stealing, selling no drugs.
But the thing about it was I don't recall my mom, dad, or anybody telling me other than my grandma encouraging me. But as I got older, past 3, 4, I never recalled them and said, "No, turn off that TV and read a book," because that's what I was doing. Or they didn't care whatever I was watching.
You had good parents
because they knew what I was willing to do. And then even at the time, my mom was finishing school, so my grandmother helped and my aunts helped raise me, and my grandfather before he passed. I'm very sorry for this. We are just getting it bad today. I don't understand. It's one of those days when some things can go wrong. Everything goes wrong. But this is just life, people. But I want to tell you, how we keep on going? We keep on going because this is just a life how you make adjustments. So I want to say, first of all, I want to say hello to Miss Arthur Dashika Miller. Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Sincere, anything else everybody got up there?
Nah, I'm just enjoying the conversation right now. But everything is true. What we said, I'm thinking around in the 90s, the early 2000s was when a lot of things changed with the kids, raising kids. And even up to right now with the kids that I work with at school and the parents that come in there and they have an attitude like it's the staff and the teachers that are the reason why the kids are not learning. And they're not trying to hear anything else but you're the reason why my kid's not learning, not the fact that when the kid goes home,
reinforce.
There's no structure. Nobody's teaching them, making them come back and do any work at home. They just go home, play video games, play with their friends, talk on the phone, get on the computer, and then they come back the next day and they have to start all over again.
Now, I want to switch over a little, move towards a little bit on the mental part of it. All this does deal with the mental part of it, so excuse me.
That's a whole nother segment right there. Because we acting mental. I'm just saying.
Amen, sir.
Somebody got to say it. We acting mental. Half these kids they disrespectful. Half of the kids we serve, half of them not ADHD, not bipolar. They getting a check.
Amen.
I'm just saying, you struck a chord.
Man, that's my job, and I appreciate it because I love the honesty, sir. I thank you so much. I have a question here. Now, I want to tell you, here's the popular thing I hear. Depression. Okay, we've all went through it. I'm willing to admit sometimes I've fought through it. But now, here was something that told me, only white people do it. Or go to seek counseling for it. Or the fact that depression has nothing to do with being lazy or you're weak or you don't have courage. It results in changes in brain chemistry or brain functions, and medication or psychotherapy often help to use to help recover from these situations. What is your feeling regarding in the minority community, or just people in general? I don't want to just say us in this, because like you mentioned earlier, it affects everybody. Mm-hmm. Why are we so against admitting depression or willing to get help, or we put down everybody else?
It's that learned behavior too. I'm sorry. We're gonna do the ladies first. I'm sorry. He gave me eye contact.
No, I apologize. I didn't want to keep. I've been staring at her for so long because she's so beautiful. I didn't want to. I didn't want to get in trouble. You know, it's like, oh man, this got that wandering eye.
Oh, why? What was your question?
They're beautiful.
Well, you know,
I'm gonna do an old Southern thing. You got a jaw, so now she over there grin.
Was her blushing? That was her grinning. Grinning like a chess cat.
Well, I was just telling the truth. You know, I didn't want to get in trouble with the wandering eye. My grandma told me to be respectful. But
I think sometimes we see it as a sign of weakness, because depression is real. It does cause you not to be able to get up in the morning, no matter how much you want to get up in the morning. It does cause you to feel unmotivated sometimes when you know you need to get something done and you just can't find the strength and the know-how to do it. So sometimes I think we deny it because we don't want to be seen as weak. That's what I find in a lot of people that I work with. You're always trying to keep a facade going.
Well, black people always say, I'm going to pray. Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, I'm going to pray.
Yeah, right.
You know, ain't nothing wrong with praying, but we got to know how to pray. Mm-hmm. Lord, give me the strength for me to make it through this day, and you get me in contact with somebody who can help me with this depression. See, we'll sit there and tell my Lord, I hope these lights don't go off. If you don't get up and do something about those lights going off,
they're going off.
They're going off.
Make a call.
So we're not realistic with our thinking and what we need to add to what she said. It's a combination of both. It's how we're taught. We're taught to, you know. I'll give you an example, and I don't be through with it too.
That, and I'm not to cut you off, Mr. Scott, but it just depends on what you know. It depends on your definition of depression. You're asking for the clinical diagnosis, or
I'm
people
asking,
just walking around.
Okay,
sad.
A generalized question.
The clinical will get me past, get me a piece of paper, but I want the answer that's going to help me and help people in life.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people not where
they have to recognize the signs and the symptoms and not take it as a sign of I'm weak or I'm lazy. Okay. The other people can't call you lazy.
Not sleeping. It goes on both spectrums. Sleeping, oversleeping, not sleeping.
Stress.
Not eating.
Overeating.
Undereating. I mean, it's an array of different things, but, you know, again, goes back to what we're saying. Okay, it's just like when you open up that DVD player, don't nobody read the instructions. They just go to hooking things up, connecting. We got to educate. We got to read. We got to research.
Okay.
You know, and I think that's why you have a Miss Connor, you know, that or the counselor over here, because he getting down. You got the right man on this thing over here.
I'm trying. I make sure he's up on here.
People are self-conscious,
very embarrassed.
Very embarrassed.
And unaware. I mean, because, again, whether we like it or not, everything has been based on culture. You know, somewhere, you know, our community got lost. I'm going to be honest with you. It's based on culture because, you know, when I was growing up, you know, like I said, you know, we're laughing and having a good time, but they always say, you need to pray. Okay, I prayed. Well, you need to pray again. Okay, I prayed, and then nothing else happened. Because, you know, I'm praying for some help instead of those people that's saying, you know, well, we've been praying, we still gonna pray, but let's see, can we go ask somebody for some help? We don't want to ask for help. Can you help me? You know, I prayed.
Pride.
And he might be that person.
Exactly.
You know,
pride.
may say, hey, man, You know, all you gotta do is just go over here and get some outpatient. You probably got a cold or something. It could be anything. You know, you have to be educated and allow somebody to educate you about it instead of just guessing.
But now let's say, okay, I have a problem. I recognize I have a problem, and I'm going to get help. But now I come to Mr. Sincere. Yo, man, I'm having some problems. I'm getting some help. He tells me, oh, you'll be all right. You want to go play some games?
Well, Mr. Sincere, I'm not knocking you, Mr. Sincere.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Now, Mr. Sincere, it's your job as a counselor to do your job, and it's also you need to get educated about your job, because Mr. Sincere is supposed to say, hey, I know Robert Scott and Candace Connor. You know, they have X, Y, and Z. Maybe they can help you. But we still can play the video game.
But besides the fact that he's
not a counselor.
Right. He's just an everyday person off the street. Right.
Educate yourself. Ask for some help. We don't ask for help. We just try to just keep him right here and let him sit down. Sit him right here. He ain't gonna, we don't know that he, his eye over here. We wait. We don't go and get anything done. But we the first ones in line for a check. I'm being honest with you.
I've had people say, you know what, you got a problem, you going through some stress.
It's called priorities.
Sit down, just chill out, get some disability, get a doctor to
they're
sign
being
off.
taught that. They taught that, kid probably just needs some glasses. Oh, you stutter. No, he's stuttering because he trying to see the word. His mouth is doing, get him evaluated. And what ticks me off, we got to work hard to get our insurance, man. It costs us a whole lot to get insurance. This stuff is free. Priorities.
Take the time out to research the information and find out.
It's free.
Because if you know what, there are sometimes it's hard, and sometimes you got to bang on the door a few more times.
Yeah.
But if you show that person that you're willing to make an effort, that person will go there with you. And so that, I'm going to be honest, I had about 10 black mothers that got tired and didn't want to do anything. But this mother's at my door every day at 5 o'clock in the morning before she go to work. I'm sorry, everybody. Now I got the buzz off. I tell you. But I'm getting it hard today, but we're going to keep on going. But at the same time, I'm going to keep fighting and keep on going and just see what happens. I'm going to give you another if some things come about. They say 1 out of 5 Americans suffer from a diagnosable mental illness in a given year, but only 1/3 seeks help. Do y'all find this more in the minority community or less, or just in general?
A lot of them just not, they don't want help though.
I guess I'm gonna get off the people a little bit.
We gonna get on insurance.
Okay, yeah, let's get to insurance.
They play games.
Let's tackle the big dogs here.
I'm gonna get off the people not seeking the services, but yes, the insurance companies, as we stated, for private insurance companies, they don't offer all of the benefits that Medicaid recipients can receive. So that's a setback.
Is that a class issue on the type of insurance, or certain companies?
It's just the private insurance companies do not, I guess, want to invest in that.
But I thought Obamacare was going to fix this for you.
It's a combination. It's a combination of both, because it depends on can we call
it out?
Okay, you got Virginia Medicaid, you have Anthem Health Keepers, you have Optima, you have Cigna.
But not all of them would do it unless you spend on a certain plan that I can't afford.
I'm about to break it down for you.
Okay.
I'm going to break it down for you. And to add what she's saying, in terms of insurance, what's this thing called? Virginia
Premier Virginia. Okay, yeah.
Worst one. They want you to do X, Y, and Z, jump through hoops, but they don't want to pay you on time. And then that will lack motivation. You break your neck, again, we do pro bono. But, we don't want our lights to go off either.
Exactly.
So it's a combination, of both. And she's going to break it all the way down from, I guess, her experience with the insurance company.
Miss Candace.
Yes, we have the little
She's still
quirks with the insurance company, but also in my experience, I guess I'm going to get on the providers. we have to stop competing with each other, because the services that we are offering, yes, we don't want our lights to go off, but it's not about us.
When you say compete, you talking about the service providers, or you talking about the insurance providers?
The service providers.
Okay.
The insurance company is going to do what they're going to do. However, if you have when you have certain, and I'm not even talking about providers just such as myself and Mr. Scott. I'm talking about those that work in social services. I'm talking about those who have who are over the CSA funding, who are over the court service unit funding. When I say competing in the wrong way. Like Mr. Scott said earlier, we are all here for the same purpose, but instead of offering and allowing certain clientele to access the service, we want to pick and choose who we tell about a certain pot of fund, who we let know when funds are being given out to help people who don't have insurance.
Okay.
So to me, a lot of it lies right there, because if you have certain providers and people coming together and pushing certain things, the insurance companies, if you talk to them, they will negotiate with you. They will make certain changes. Yes, sometimes you have to go back to them more than 1 or 2 or 3, 4 times, but before people sometimes go to the insurance companies, they come to community-based resources. And like I said, I'm not just speaking about what myself and Mr. Scott do, but they go to the courts first, particularly our parents for our kids that are having behavior problems. They go to social service first. So, people are not accessing the services, not just because of their own setbacks, but certain things are not being exposed to the community. We presented in South Hill, and we know that the problems that are going on in the school system with our children and presenting certain behavior problems where they can't stay in the classroom, they're being expelled, suspended, or placed in alternative settings. And we had the director of Mecklenburg County School Board Office tell us over the special education department, say that there's no problems in the schools. So here we go again with another provider or a person working in the community blocking
and I got who I want in the school.
blocking what services or interventions that are out there, whether the insurance company is offering it, whether it's pro bono or whatever, because we have our own personal agenda. When we realize it's not about us, we're there to do a job, people can access the services. Then we can fully honestly say, you know what, Steve, you didn't get what you needed because you chose not to be a part of your treatment and work the program. But I can't fully say that to you when I know that there's people out here that may not give you certain information for whatever reason. They may not like your shoes.
It's extremely.
They might not like Connections for Life.
They may not like you because you're addressing issues. And that same lady, and I'll be honest, we went up there, we presented. I'm gonna tell it. You said I can say what I need to say.
Said, please, I want you to be honest. This is help educating everybody. Honesty educates.
That same lady, she not even qualified to be doing what she doing, and you wondering why these kids are not getting educated. And when you try and explain, well, I don't care, what the law say, I'm going to do it this way. It goes too many times, too many times out there where people, like you said earlier, the justice, they were trying to get you for $60-some, but the things they need to address, they don't, and that's something that they needed to address. Yeah, and that same lady been doing 20-some years, so you can imagine how 25 plus years, how many other students went without, and they're still going without. But I blame the providers that are there, because if you're a provider that's there, your job still is to educate. Okay. You're still supposed to protect rights.
You have to
you gotta have some integrity about something.
Yeah, you have to provide a continuity of care, and that means outpatient, working with Mr. Scott on the in-home side, working with Sincere on the school-based side, working with you on the IT. It has to be a continuity of care of all people involved, whether that's social services, whether that's your private industries, whether that's your PCP, the clients as well. So, and people are not, that continuity of care can't be provided when you have the people who are supposed to be educated, who are making certain rules and regulations, like I said, having their own personal agenda, and therefore you have the community suffering. So it's not just the people not taking advantage of the services either because of their pride. Those were just some of the issues. So we got to take some responsibility too.
Okay, now I want to switch it up a little bit, and I'm going to go a different direction. a few years ago, please forgive me, I want to say 4 years ago, the state was a big push about, you know what, everybody's going to have to get a certain degree or education. But we pushed out many people, thousands of people throughout the state, and this is happening throughout the U.S., who had years of experience, good counselors, good people who were counselors and worked in social services, worked with judges, worked with parents, who saved a lot of children's lives, are now out of work.
Well, the problem was the state allowed certain people to get this job because they weren't supposed to get the job. The insurance company have been the insurance company. The rule has always been the rule. So the state set a lot of people up to be unemployed and all that. And it was different things that they could have allowed and created for those people that have a criminal justice degree, for those people that have other than a human service degree.
Right. See, that was the thing. There was no streamline. Instead of cutting everybody off. Okay, I understand you want to make the rule, or like you say,
it's been that the state will shut you down, but they won't follow their own rule.
See, and my thing was, okay, my thing with anything, instead of just cutting it certain off on certain things, let's streamline the process. For example, a lady I knew was in her about 53 years old, over 20 years, worked privately with the judges, with various other companies, helped start a lot of things, and saved a lot of children's lives. To this day, they even have their children coming to her. But now did not provide some type of financial component or a training seminar, because you got the teacher switch programs all around.
They have them. See, okay, remember what she just said about certain people, you know, it's cliquish. You know, I'm going to tell Steve about this, but I'm not going to tell Miss Connor. Miss Connor might know too much. Me and Steve on the same page. But see, they always had it. They had paraprofessionals in the beginning. A lot of those people didn't have to lose their jobs. They had different things. Just like a lot of people don't know that the ones that lost their job, they could have gone to school under those state agencies. The state has a school to qualify you as a QMHP. You can go to the website.
But the thing was, but the requirement was still saying you still had to have a 4-year degree.
No, paraprofessional. I'm going to send you a link.
Please, because I want to send this.
It's with Department of Behavioral Health, Development Services. You have to play around the website.
Obviously.
And it is difficult because I will say, you know, I'm going to point it back at the state because sometimes they don't update their website like they should. But it has always been a school that people can attend that, you know, have, you know, those degrees other than the human service field. It has always been like that, but a lot of people don't research those. And you know,
the state didn't even provide this, because I was approached with this issue several times, and I contacted the state, contacted several board, even representatives, and said, okay, this is a problem. Too bad. Tell them to go back to school.
I'm gonna show you how long. I'm gonna show you how long this has been in place, because that probably was a person that they probably didn't know.
No, I believe you, and things like, and you work for the company, and you still don't know, you're not educated on what services you provide. So I understand. What would you say, Ms. Candace?
When you're looking at a lot of politics, you're looking at money.
That's all it was.
So you had, when the state, when Medicaid opened up the book and told everybody to read what we already had in place, you know, that was the opportunity too, because rates were being cut for businesses to make those type of decisions, because their rates were going to be cut anyway. But it goes back to, like Mr. Scott said, for me to have an outpatient office, I had to first get my license. Okay. The state approved me to get my license. I had to apply to each insurance company in order to become a provider.
That's what it's called, credential.
In order to become a provider.
Okay.
Some of those insurance companies told me no. The state could have done the same thing, just as well as Medicaid can also close their network and say, we're not accepting any providers.
But why would you close it if all I got to do is let Mr. Sincere just make all the mistakes he wants for 10 years, and then
come back and find
Mr. Sincere. We paid him $3 million, but we about to collect $15 million. It's a game.
Now let me ask you this, okay? I'm a young person. I'm 14, 15, 16 years old. I want to help people. I'm hearing all of this. Why should I get into this game? Or better yet, college is expensive. I'm having to pay $20,000 just to be in state. I want to go to a good school. I got in. I'm looking at $20,000 to $25,000 a year. Plus now possibly to get my master's. So I'm looking at 5, maybe 6 years of school. Now I come out. I'm owing $120,000, $150,000 in loans. My mom and dad didn't have anything, or whoever. And I want to get into the social services field, or even possibly teach.
Well, you might not want to ask me that.
But now, I'm asking and things. And now, why? How can I get some of this money taken back off of me if I'm helping something in a low income, low wage area, what have you? And or second, why am I going to do this when my average salary, I'm not even getting $20,000 to $25,000. I'm not even earning $50,000 in certain states. Why should I get into this? Ladies first. I'm sorry.
Take them back now. We had this conversation. Take them back.
I'll take it whatever way you can give me, ma'am.
Take them back to the beginning.
One reason why I would say for that person to continue to pursue it, because there are certain organizations that you can work for, and they will take care of your student loans after you've worked so many years and you've worked for some nonprofit organizations. They will help you with your loan. Now, see, they don't tell everybody that.
Exactly. See, that's why I brought
that's
that
what you.
up.
And then the other piece is, I cannot think of the name of the loan off the top of my head, but I know it's not the subsidized or the unsubsidized loan. I cannot think of the name of the loan that you can get when you're pursuing those types of degrees. But once you graduate and you work for certain nonprofit organizations, they will forgive your loans. Of course, you have to do something. You just can't just sign up and say, hey, you have to work and put in the time. Also, just being a person that has went through the educational system to work in this field, again, we're going into the politics because that's what people want to see, because there's a lot of people with letters behind their name that
don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. Okay. Educated fools.
Okay.
So what I'm also finding from working and stepping outside of that systematic way of thinking, you have people that are not licensed, that are talking to people, that are helping people. Some of these people that we're looking at on TV don't have degrees or not credentialed in certain stuff, and they have all types of self-help books. They own Dr. Phil, Oprah, and everything. So that's why I would still encourage you to do it. The system wants you to have that education, but you can still get out here and provide your service if that's what it is that your heart desires. Because people, you have to find them, but people will pay for good help. Now,
let's say this, okay? What are some of the ups and downs for me? And obviously the ups are helping people, but what are some of the things that some people are not seeing? And I preface this, let me give you a little bit of background. Okay, lawyers, people will go on TV, they see whatever show, oh yeah, I'm going to wear nice clothing, I'm wearing fancy cars, I'll investigate this, that, and then come home, work on it a few hours, and come home. And a lot of people go into law or criminology thinking this, that, and the other. When you're sitting in the lab, you're not running around with a gun and designer Gucci shoes and bags and things like that. So now, what is it that the ups and downs to be careful, or what are some of the things that you went through that I could tell a young person, be careful, look out for this, or what to prepare so I won't run through the same obstacle?
I'm gonna go back to what we said originally. You got to research. Mm-hmm. You just don't. You don't jump into something off the deep end without knowing how deep it is. You got to know what's in the water. And a lot of people, when we were growing up, we had the Upward Bound programs. We had, Career Day. We had people come out. You have to, and that's one of the things the parents should be doing. You got to assist your child. Your child got to trust you enough to, believe in, okay, mom and daddy, want the best for me. I want to go try this, and this. A lot of people wait too late to even apply for school, and they get what's out there. They get excited off of the first offer, and they're like, man, I accept this scholarship and this money. They don't even have what I want to really do. Then that's a headache right there, because now you committed. So, you have to educate yourself. You got to attend these different, career days, the college, go out, visit a school. Instead of saying, I feel bad, I haven't my child to what is that, King's Dominion. Spend that gas on going to visit a college.
Thank you. I've gotten so much flack over that, where they want to go spend, and I'm not saying kid can't have fun and you can't stress a book over their head all the time. I don't see right now, but the whole thing of, okay, I tell one, instead of spending $60, $80 on something, have them join a summer camp program. I fussed online for years. Send your kid overseas. Send your kids to a swimming program.
Right.
And there's a lot of programs. I give you a perfect example. I just recently was in New York. You say, oh, it's expensive. Yes, there's some aspects, but there's a lot of colleges.
Right.
May not be the big names or some of the sexy names out there, but there were a lot of colleges. For $160 for 3 days a week, for 2 hours, you can send your kids, I think it was like 8 or 12 weeks swimming. They had drama classes for 5 years.
We had it free.
Exactly.
National Youth Sports Program, NYSP.
Even you can look for the free ones, but even the ones who say, "Okay, I want to pay to go to a nice spot," they're not bad. But then you spend $30 a week for a pack of cigarettes. So in a month, you spent your child's education in a month, or that bag of weed, or those drugs, or whatever you want to call it.
That's that's what we deal with on it. But you also got to change the way people think. And I think that's a lot of times too. That learned behavior, that learn, way of thinking where, well, I always call that the old way. When people think about country, it's different country. You got backwood country, you got country, you got southern. Yeah, okay. When you that backwood country, you going out there walking with no shoes on, walking through glass and everything else. That's not thinking.
Okay.
A lot of people have to think. What do you want for your child? One thing I always did, and I always heard my father say, and my mother, you want better than us. They don't see anything wrong. If you got a person that don't see nothing wrong they doing, you wrong. So I mean, educate yourself, research. Don't just be on the thing. I'm not knocking Facebook, love it. Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm saying is, don't just be on Facebook for just talking to each other. If you're going to talk about, hey, what you all have in y'all city.
See, and there's a whole bunch of different, just not minor, but business groups, education. The thing about what Facebook, to me, is doing its job is, unfortunately, you got the ancillary groups of people that use it for all the wrong things. But, like, I want to learn about taxes. There's plenty of Facebook groups about that educate and talk to me. You can chat. I've learned... Granted, there's a lot of stuff on news, CNN, Fox, whatever you want to watch, but it's something different when you got somebody that's living there.
Right.
You can tell me all about, I can read all about Alabama,
right,
but there's somebody there that went through there.
There you go.
I found some friends who I joined about maybe 3 months ago, a group from Malaysian culture group. Mm-hmm. And sure, there's a lot of history, but then I found some more and stuff like that. Told me about how, this build up between the different cultures from other countries and how the oppression came in about their clothes just for wearing cotton.
But you didn't wait on nobody to just give you that. You did what?
I researched.
That's the key.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm a research fiend. I will find it. I will find it.
The other piece too, what I would tell someone who is going in this field, yes, you're going to have some things that are online, but you need to sit in the classroom and get that experience from that professor.
Can I come follow you?
Okay.
Can I shout at you every day?
Yeah, you sure can.
Okay.
Because I just have...
Now we got him grinning.
I mean,
Wide smile.
I'm not knocking the online education. Again, that goes back to the convenience. We want to have convenience all the time.
We want it fast.
But
I want to put it into work, though. I got no problem.
Yes. So my thing is, I would encourage people to, particularly for the mental health field.
Okay.
Now, depending on what you're going to school for, that's good. But when you're going to school to work with people, because people have to understand, being a therapist, being a psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor is just as important as that heart or brain surgeon. Okay. You can't be sitting on a computer reading everybody else's work and teaching yourself, and then think that you're going to go out here and connect and do a good quality job with your client. You need to get into the classroom, hear those real life experience from the person that is teaching.
Go ahead.
So my thing would be to encourage them to just don't stick to the online learning. I would say make sure you have those opportunities where you're sitting in the classroom, like I said, getting that real life experience from the person who hopefully has done some work in the field. I know they have to go away for a week or two when you're doing the online course piece, but you going into a classroom every day or so many times out of the week can be beneficial. I know we want convenience. I know we want it to be easy. But that's what I would encourage people to do, particularly in this field when you're dealing with people. When you're dealing with people.
Very much so. Before I let you guys go, could you first off do me a favor? Okay. First off, our website, like our Facebook page, and our email is enlivenradio@gmail.com. But please tell us about your websites and your information. Could you tell us, please? Spell it out.
You can email me at, basically the name of the organization, Connections for Life Counseling.
Spell out for.
Spell out the name for.
FOR.
So Connections for Life Counseling at yahoo.com. I'm in the process of building my website.
I'm going to have a talk with you about that.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
And hopefully you will hear about us again, because I'm planning an expo August the 23rd. That's the tentative date. It may change, but we're trying to plan an expo where we're going to bring in, it's going to be called Healthy Lifestyle Living, to bring in providers and just people from in the community from all aspects, because my thing with
I'm sorry again for the noise, people. I apologize.
My thing with mental health is I know you mentioned earlier the medication management, the psychotherapy, but there's some other areas that we need to look at. We need to look at physical health. We need to look at nutrition, because people have to realize what you eat and what you don't get out your chair and do can affect your mood and what's going on with you.
I understand. I want to say hello to Miss Myra Bowden, my stepmom. Hello. Always educating and counseling me on my health, so I greatly appreciate it. I just want to stop and say hi now that you mentioned that.
And the office is located at 11506 Alicenji Parkway, Suite 2C, North Chesterfield.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
11506 Alicenji.
Could you spell that for me?
ALLECINGIE.
Okay.
Parkway, Suite 2, North Chesterfield, Virginia. The office number
2C.
2C?
Yeah.
The office number is 804-378-0671.
I'm going to come by for lunch tomorrow. Okay. You, sir?
We're in the same building.
Okay.
One is upstairs, one is downstairs.
Do you have a separate number, sir?
I explain that off the radio.
Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. I just wanted to...
basically, I guess you can Google facts. You can type in Family and Children Treatment Services. I went on there probably 1,000 times so I can get it up where it'll pop up.
Not a problem.
But Family and Children Treatment Services.com, and you get a chance to look at the website. Needs to be upgraded.
We'll talk about that.
So we got somebody that we talking to about that now.
Another problem.
But,
Mr. Sincere, you want to add anything to this, sir?
Nah, I'm like I said, I'm just listening. This is almost like discussing family issues.
Hey, that's what we're here for, to help. I hope, first of all, I want to say I thank you two so very much for coming. You have certainly. I'm going to come. I'm coming, and please, and you're hiring.
Yeah, we are hiring in-home mental health support. I need some mentors. I need some guys.
We need some more guys. Yes, I see so many women.
This field is so open for the guys, but we don't want to do nothing. It ain't but 10 of us out there that want to work in this field.
Amen to that.
Don't make you soft.
Can I bring a belt and start whipping kids? No, that's not allowed.
Well,
I wouldn't suggest that.
Can I bring
I'm
my
going to tell you what they always say. You know this is the Commonwealth. You know this is the Commonwealth.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
But yeah, feel free to come by. I mean, we always try and change up different things because we don't like being like anybody else, because we want to tackle the issues, whether we like them or not. Whether we believe in what everybody else is pushing or not, but just come by and see us. We're gonna put together a lot of stuff, just like she said at Expo.
We need some help.
Okay.
You know, put it out there. Be a part of it. You're doing something. African American man on the radio.
No, thank you.
You know, put it out there.
I will come out there.
I mean, you could commentate. Open invitation.
I'll have a table. I'll come out there. I'll do whatever. I have it's 3 or 4 things. I'm looking to this fall have a enrichment program. One of the things I'm looking to plan on is like have a day session. I want to have people come in and talk about the things that they won't teach in school anymore. I want to have a person coming in like how to buy a car and a house, financing, life and wills, a variety of different things. We're going to take a small break, a few-minute break, while we take care of some in-house business and things. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for the both of you for coming, and I appreciate your time. And everybody, keep on listening while we take care of some things, and we'll be with you shortly.
So they gonna be able to hear this later, or you have to listen to it while it's dark? This what we just this section.
everybody. I want to say that thank you so much again to everybody for listening to this wonderful conversation regarding mental health and all the ins and outs and counseling and social issues within a family. It was a very enlightening conversation. Mr. Sincere, what do you think about this?
I think it's a conversation that needs to be ongoing, something that everybody needs to hear about, because a lot of times you don't hear about these things, and just like what you was talking about, everything from education to just mental health in general, if you don't know, then you're left out. So it was good. And plus, on top of that, I knew the folks, so that made it even better.
Well, that helps a whole lot. Well, first off, I want to go in. I want to do a little in-house thing. First off, I want to thank our sponsors. First and foremost, Lido Pizza, owner Lee Fuentes over in Willow Lawn and also in Short Pump. The address in the Willow Lawn location is 4925 West Broad Street. We're right next to the Intellos building in the Dollar Tree back in the Willow Lawn Shopping Center. We also have a 4030 Gathering Place up in Short Pump. The Gathering Place Shopping Center is a wonderful area as well. We have TVs. We have music. We do have beer and wine. A lot of good food, not just pizza and pasta, but a lot of sandwiches. We have a lot of gluten-free and a lot of good salads and some new avocado type salads, and of course we got some wings. Mr. Sincere has enjoyed some of the food there, and so I want to give a shout out to Mr. Fuentes and Lido Pizza. Did you enjoy the food there, sir?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it's a friendly atmosphere. You can come in with your family, sit down, have a drink, eat, and you can also watch some television. They also have sporting events there.
Yeah, so soon we're going to work on getting a projector in there. I keep telling him I need to have a projector in the Willow Lawn location and get that going and set him up. So
I think one of these times you're going to have to bring Lee in himself and get him to come in so he can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely get him in here. In addition, I also want to give a shout out to Cars Unlimited over here in I'm sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. Forgive me. Cars Unlimited, CARZ Unlimited, LLC, here in the Richmond location area. He's located at 133 East Bell Boulevard, Suite A. The phone number there is 804-588-9553. Again, that's 804-588-9553. If you need a car, regardless of your situation, come by. We got a lot of good newer cars, some used ones, and a variety of services we could provide. Also, if you need some mechanical work to your vehicles, come on by and we can take care of it. I could tell you I've gotten several vehicles from Mr. Harrison and has serviced me very well, so I can honestly say it's a good and great place to go. Now, Mr. Sincere, we're going to go on to some of my favorite parts of the day. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. First off, my historical person of the day or the week. Last week, we talked about Miss Queen Mother Audrey Moore, who was a very big part of movement to get us support African American rights and social issues. But today we're going to bring up somebody, and please get your pens and papers out, everybody. I'm going to bring up another good person that I think is something that everybody needs to take the time out to learn. His name is Arthur P. Bedou, Arthur, the middle initial P, and Bedou, Bedou. He was born in 1880 to 1966. Now, you may wonder, well, who's this person? Well, he was from the South, as you can tell by a French name. But he's a well-known photographer throughout his long career. He worked from the early 1900s on. He was well-known for working with Booker T. Washington. He was a traveling partner with him and helped write with him on some of his speeches and gave him a lot of sound advice on how to present his ideas and thoughts. Besides taking pictures, Bedou experimented with his own unique chemistry and developing techniques of his cameras. So a lot of the things you saw with Kodak and Canon and all the other major camera companies back in the day, they got his ideas and techniques from him. And unfortunately, he didn't get credited for a lot. He was known for his portraits and landscapes, but also served as an institutional photographer for many colleges. He was the official photographer for Xavier University, and the school holds the largest collection of Bedou's works as well. He's a very powerful man when you start reading up his information, and I'm going to start posting some links about him as well. He worked with a lot of other people as well. Duke University holds some information about him. Did you ever hear about this gentleman, sir?
I've heard about him one time several years back, but my thing was, how active was he in the civil rights movement? Being that he passed away in the early or mid was it 1966?
Yeah, 1966.
So yeah, how active was he?
Well, he was very active in terms of capturing, like many, well, actually so few back then. He captured a lot of the images of African Americans struggling through times, but his specialty, he also captured a lot of us being successful. Not just us trying to grab food, trying to use the bathroom, and a variety of other things you saw in the gym, about poor Willie Lynch mentality. Sold a lot of lawyers and doctors and other people who fought through those ceilings to get ahead and get an education. So he was very big in putting that out on other information. He also worked with Miss Mary Jane McLeod Bethune as well. He was also worked in a school in Daytona, Florida, with Industrial School of Training Negro Girls was the name of the school, and helped push the rights to get women education. And that was a big thing, especially just women in general, but also black women to get education. That was a big fight.
I'm sure he had something to do. If you said Mary Bethune, he had to be very active in Bethune-Cookman then, because that was right there in Daytona Beach.
Mm-hmm. So he did a lot of the things. So I'm going to give everybody some information regarding that. So again, his name was Arthur, Arthurp Bedou, Bedou. Anybody commenting on our Facebook page here?
Not so far.
Oh man, our Facebook page again is www.facebook.com/Enliven Radio, ENLIVEN Radio, RADIO. The next thing I want to go over notes for the week. I always try to bring out some good news for everybody. I want everybody to feel positive. We always talk about different issues and things, but also bring out the good side of things as well. Last week we talked about an Ethiopian girl who was rescued or protected by a bunch of lions. You remember that story?
Yeah, I'm still not feeling that one. I don't know how that happened.
Well, it's amazing. And, if lions and humans can get together and protect a young little girl, we can try to do something more to help others.
Yeah, right. Together? Okay.
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a different story here. Have you ever heard of the name of Veronica Scott?
Vaguely.
Okay. Veronica Scott is a design student in Detroit who was keenly aware of the increasing numbers of homelessness and people suffering there, and also people dying on the streets. Unfortunately, homelessness is a very big problem in our communities. And that's a show topic I'm really going to push on to have as well. And the variety of the issues, not just people assume vagrant people. But at the tender age of 21, she created the Detroit Empowerment Plan. See, 21-year-olds are getting in it. And she also tried to help this program not to help solve homelessness, but to provide a much-needed warmth to the city's 20,000 street dwellers. What she did was she helped design a coat called the Element S. It's a self-heated, waterproof, and transforms into a sleeping bag at night. It's made by a group of homeless women who are paid minimum wage, fed, and housed while creating these coats made for those living on the street. The focus is on the humanitarian system to create jobs for those who desire them and coats for those who need them at no cost. The goal is to empower, employ, educate, and instill pride. The importance is not just within the product, but within the people. That's something powerful.
Definitely.
Somebody taking time out to build coats. Her name is Veronica, Veronika. A little different spelling. Again, Veronika Scott. And she's done a lot within the city of Detroit, and also pushing the city council to help build additional homes to get people going in training programs. So I thought this was a very powerful story to tell.
Well, definitely was positive because, we'd like to enlighten folks and also to back the kids to be proactive in whatever things they want to achieve, and this is a good example.
Again, very good. I'm going to also give a new word of the day, word of the week. I had a couple of them.
now, I know you have a lot of words to use. So, don't go over everybody's head with this.
I'm going to be nice, but here's my first one is recalcitrant. And Don't give me that look.
Okay,
It's like, I just told you. I just told you not to go over your head.
Go ahead.
Recalcitrant. 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 Do you know what that word is?
Well, if I break it down, I know what means. Calcitrate.
Calcitrant.
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay. It's a couple of ways you could use it. You could use it as an adjective, having a abstaining, uncooperative attitude towards authority. A noun, a person with such an attitude. And synonyms, insubordinate, disobedient, refractory. That's a good little word to use.
That I can use in my vocabulary at school.
Yeah. So give me can you use it in a sentence?
No. I'm not messing with you on that.
Come on, give it a shot.
No.
Okay. The manager worried that the recalcitrant employee would try to undermine his authority.
Okay.
And I'll give you one more.
Go ahead,
A heart-to-heart talk with the recalcitrant youth revealed that he had a troubled life at home.
I can use that exact sentence.
There you go. See? Try to look at something for you. So we're trying not to be too foolish here, but I've always wanted to provide and learn a new word for the week to use. So that helped out. The next thing I wanted to put out there is one of my favorite things is a book of the week. You love to read, don't you?
Yes, when I have time.
Yes, that's finding that time. But, reading's becoming popular now more and more with the books, the Nooks and all the other toys with Androids. And I'm not even going to mention that other nasty device.
Which device with the iDevice?
No.
Yeah, that's a bad word.
That's a bad word here. We are not allowed to use that word in this place of business here. But the first book I want to give you is I'm going to give you the author. Well, actually, you want the author first or the name of the book?
The title.
The title is called The Evening News.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
Other than the Evening News.
It came out in 2001 and it's written by Arthur Haley. It's a good novel. It originally came out in paperback. I see your eyes. You know this one.
Give me a background on it.
Okay. The cold-blooded politics, naked power, and raw terror behind the scenes. Murder in New York, terror in South America, bloody riots in Eastern Europe. That's the evening news as commonly reported by top TV anchorman Crawford Sloan until his own life is torn apart in one dramatic moment. For when terror snatched his family, no one knows better than Sloan how slim are the chances of getting them back alive. Now their fate depends on Sloan's rival, ace reporter Harry Partridge, on a beautiful and ruthless network CEO, and Sloan's own determination to track the kidnappers down from New York to Colombia to the Peruvian Andes, and a final heart-stopping climax of danger and death.
Okay, sounds like a good book.
Yeah, it's a very powerful book. I had an opportunity to read this some time ago, and it gave a good perspective of a few things. One, a background of how the news organization originally worked long before. Two, how hard you have to really work in the news. And three, what really actually happens in a danger, not some of the glossed over things or how the superstar aspect that some reporters try to make it out to be.
All right.
And everything. So it's a very good book. Misplaced the MLS number. Oh, there we go. I apologize. Not the MLS. That's housing. The ISBN number, 0385504243. Again, 0385504241. It's 580 pages, made by Doubleday as the publisher, and it came out July 10th, 2001. A very good book. I'm also going to pass along a couple other books I want to give out because I'm always thinking about the children. Here's one called Street Rise, a guide for teen investors. And I'm always want kids to learn a bit about money because kids don't have any ideas today. And it's a teen who gets kids out there, shows about how other young youths invested their money, took time out with their just allowances of some of the money that they had and got involved with stocks, trading, mutual funds, investing in nest eggs and substantial things, getting involved all before they finished high school. Some went on to some major businesses. Some invested into themselves and their families. The book, again, is called Streetwise, A Guide for Teen Investors. It came out in September 2000. Made by the publishers by Bloomberg Press. 256 pages, and the ISBN number for that one is 1576600394. Again, that's 1576600394. Did they teach you about money when you were young, your parents?
My parents did, yeah, definitely.
But
and whether I heeded the advice later on in life, not so much.
I understand. I just learned a lot about money, and they did involve our greats in high school, Laurel Park High School, best high school in the world, in Martinsville. But it was something very powerful, and I always enjoyed learning about that. And sure, some things I've forgotten, some things I had to relearn. Some things it's good to just relearn again. You may sometimes, what's the saying? Destined to forget the past, you're darn it committed in the future. So, you go on. I want to give everybody a quote, something I meant to give last week to think about, a couple of ones. But the first one is, an essential aspect of creativity is not being afraid to fail. Sometimes people forget to do things. They just don't want to get involved, don't want to do things because they're scared of what it might look upon others, what my family may say about it, neighbors, friends, others, co-workers. But you're scared to get involved. And when you're trying to do something creative, such as me doing this radio show, many people told me, oh, don't bother, I'm wasting my time. But, I'm not scared to fail. I want to do it to try to bring about change. It may not be the best out there in the world, but I want to bring about change. What do you think?
I think you should always do whatever's on your heart. If you want to make a change, then first you have to be the one to step out there and attempt to make the change instead of just talking about it, because we can talk about it all day, but until you act, nothing's going to change.
Amen. The next quote I'm going to give you, saying I want to give you, is one that touched me a little bit. This one says, the only person you should be trying to be better than is the person you were yesterday. How many people I'm going to repeat it again. The only person you should be trying to be better than is the person you were yesterday. I've seen so many people try to step out. I see someone on Facebook or online or out there in the community. I want to be better than that person. I want to have the same thing that person. Or even now you see in the NFL draft coming up in other sports. Or are you going to be like this running back? Or are you going to be like this quarterback? Only person, the answer I want to hear sometimes is like, I'm just trying to be my own sir. I'm not trying to be the next Peyton Manning. I'm not trying to be the next Barry Sanders. I'm not trying to be the next Tavis Smiley. I just want to be the best that Steven Sykes could be. If you find me in similar, again, I apologize for the background noise and construction. But if you find me in the same avenue as some other good people, then I appreciate the comment. But I'm also just trying to be the best that I can be and improve every day. Would you say so?
That's all you can do. But that's a good idea to keep that in mind.
I'm actually going to put that on my quote on my Facebook wall to make sure that happens. The next thing I'm going to have my technology moment of the day. I love this one.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Okay, well, last week we talked about laptop coolers. Again, something every laptop should be on, regardless if you have a Mac or PC or whatever, to help protect your laptop. Today we're going to talk about Office 365 and Office 2013.
Sound very familiar, especially the Office 13.
Yes, it's very good. Well, the basic thing about it is the simple answer to it is, do you want to rent or do you want to buy? Okay. Now, to deal with, they wanted to try to make things a little bit more ad hoc or as needed. I don't know why. When you give information to people and you let them know that you're doing a show or something else, okay, we'll take care of it. And then at the last minute, they decide to work on something else anyway. But we will get through this, and I do apologize. But with Office 365, you're basically renting the software. So every year, you have to pay a certain fee depending on the package. Now, if you got the home premium, that just gives you Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, Publisher, Outlook, and OneNote. You pay $100 a year per computer. If you're part of a student group, then you can get it for 4 years for $80. But and then also you can get the premium, which gives you additional information. Now, with the $100 a year, you get the 5 home and 5 access rights and 5 licenses to 5 home and student user PCs per household. And with the small business one, you get 5 per office user. Now, if you're running a business, that's a pretty good thing to have, because now you can section out to the number of machines that you may have. But now if you're just needing one good time, then you have to pay the full price, which it gets to be a little bit larger. But now Microsoft has been a little bit nicer in terms of their pricing. The home and student version just gives you Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote for $140. The 220 gives you Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Outlook, and the professional gives it all to you. And they're all single installation, one time. And then they also include various versions of various sizes for the SkyDrive account that you're saving to. And what the goal is with Microsoft, regardless if you have the home, the package of 2013 or the 365, once you start saving your documents online and also on your computer, so you have a cloud access that allows you to access everything. So now when you go somewhere else, you can use it. Now, the good thing also with the Office 365 portion of it, it allows you to stream your application. So let's say I come to somebody else's home. They don't have Office 365. They don't have any Office, or some old version, maybe the Office 2000 or, heaven forbid, Office 97. You log into your account, and it streams the application. So now you can continue to do your work remotely. But now here's the catch. Again, you're paying a fee per year. So it depends on what you're looking to do. Now, if you're buying a computer every new year, then okay, might be a good option. Or again, if you have multiple businesses, employees coming and going, the machine, you have that option. But now you're paying that price every single year. So you may keep your laptop or your machine for 4 years. That's $400. Which is a lot. Now, if you have the package, just one good time, pay that one good time fee, then you're done. So it just depends on the need that you may have. And that's the basic difference with Office 365 and Office 2013. Some people are buying a 365 version thinking, oh, I'm getting a cheaper version, but you have to be understanding and be knowledgeable of what you're purchasing. What do you think about that, Mr. Sincere?
But actually, I had a question for you.
Sure.
Now, for my PC, if I wanted to upgrade to 13 from what I currently have on my computer, now what would I need to do in order to be able to upgrade it with and still have full access
to all your documents?
Yeah, to all my current documents.
The best thing to do is, depending on which version you have, you can contact Microsoft online and see if they can give you a deal on an upgrade package, and that could help you out on everything and make sure it's a little bit, make sure they can give you a little bit of a cheaper deal. In addition, you can go to the store and buy the full version, but sometimes you can get the little bit of a cheaper package. They may discount it for you. So the upgrade version prices, and it depends on different types versions of the Office suite that you may need. But if you just need the general version, the home and student version, then it's usually around $100 or $75 for the upgrade package. But and then also it depends on the operating system that you have. You can't stay on Windows XP. You need to be on Windows 7 and now preferably Windows 8 to get that upgrade.
Okay, so Windows 7 or 8. Let me see. I think mine is Windows 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you just need to, we can buy the upgrade package and you install it. The best thing also I tell everybody to do is always back up your information. Granted, it's supposed to be a simple install, but hey, anything happens. And if you don't know what you're doing, don't touch it. Call somebody, pay the money, call me. I'll help you get it done. But just don't do it yourself if you don't know what you're doing. And that's always a big helpful thing. Real quickly, I want to go over some black facts that we learned this week. You know anything that happened in history on this week?
Not at all.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of them. In 1872, what happened in 1872 on this day?
You just want me to guess?
Yeah, just
I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself. I'm gonna let you go ahead and begin, and then I'll fill in if it's something that I can remember.
Okay. Charlotte E. Ray became the first female African American lawyer. Miss Ray graduated from Howard Law School.
Howard University?
Yep, Howard Law School.
Okay.
I'll give you another thing. In 1955, what did the U.S. Supreme Court do?
It's so many things went on during this time. I mean, you're just leading me into like a sheep to the slaughter.
And the U.S. Supreme Court refused to review lower court decision, which would have banned segregation in interstate bus travel.
Ah, okay.
All right.
That's a good fact because I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you another one. In 1971, the president of Liberia died, William Tubman, Tubman, President of Liberia died today.
1971.
Uh-huh. Now, I'm going to give you another one. In 1971, also have students seized Columbia University buildings. And Columbia University operations virtually ended for the year by black and white students who seized 5 buildings on campus. Now, that's a good historical thing that I'm not going to tell everybody what happened. I want some parents to get out there and research themselves and get their students and their children, involved in learning a little bit about this. And also, I want to give you an inventor in 1856.
I'm listening.
Okay. You're not taking a shot at all.
No.
Okay.
You're not even. You got to warm me up first.
Okay. Inventor Granville T. Woods was born.
Granville Woods. I've heard of him.
Okay.
That's not the walkie-talkie.
No. He had about 35 patents. But actually, he was born today in Columbus, Ohio. He received more than 35 patents, including those for the steam boiler furnace, which is still used today, an incubator, and an automatic air brake.
And he never got any kind of
family struggling. Now you got the air brake still being used by a lot of big rigs out there, steam boiler furnace. The family's still struggling to get the money.
But they're not going to get it. I mean, we know that situation. You create it, they take it, they use it, and then you get lost in the sauce.
The thing about it is, I don't understand. But when I mention these things, people need to go ahead and learn about these things. There's no movie being made about Granville Woods, but I'm quite sure his family got a story to tell.
Oh yes, I'm sure.
All right, sir. Well, what did you learn this week? Closing.
More than I can say. Well,
give me one thing.
On the mental health side, I learned that being in this field, there are a lot of other opportunities that are available, but you just have to. What the key word of the day was research.
Very much so.
And a lot of times we don't take the time to research things. We want someone to just hand it to us.
I learned today. I can't say I just learned it today, but it kind of hit a little bit more home today than ever. I can't do all things. I can't be all things to all people. Those who know me know I work very hard and I'm trying to do the right thing, and I make mistakes, Lord knows. But I try my best to fulfill a lot of things. People call, ask, sure, I could do it. And, I can usually get it done. Sometimes more recently, I've been tired, especially since I moved back here to Richmond. I've been running, and I'm quite tired. And I had to take some time out, and sometimes you have to say no.
Well, I'm glad you came back because that New York thing was too much.
And I was not doing too well health-wise, and a variety of different things went on. But I'm grateful to be back and see what the good Lord has for me. But this week I had to learn to say no.
Regardless.
Very much so.
You have to look out for number one, because if not, people just drain you and just leave you to the side.
Yeah, amen to that one.
But I think I've told you that many times. Many times before.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was choking a little bit. I apologize. But now I want everybody to, it's getting closer to the show, and I know people got things to do and stuff like that. But I want to say, first off, I want to thank y'all very much for listening to our second broadcast. I want to get that information from Miss Candace Connor from Connections for Life Counseling, and also Mr. Robert Scott, Family and Children Treatment Services. Very good company, and helped and encouraged. I felt very good with them here, especially Miss Connor. She was a nice, lovely lady.
Whom you remember?
I remember Mr. Scott and Miss Connor. It's
Okay.
easy.
Well, I only remember Ms. Connor from
Well,
being one of my supervisors.
okay, cool. Well, good people, and it's amazing how it's a small world. We worked with them before, and we totally forgot.
Completely. I mean, walked in like I didn't know who that was, and then I said, "Oh, Candace."
Well, we work. Things happen. But first off, I want to thank everybody for taking the time out to listen. I want to dedicate this show to my grandmother. You want to dedicate anything this show to?
No, okay. I don't have anybody I want to. The first show, yes. This show, no.
Okay, no problem.
But you know what? Actually, yes. That the folks who were listening would actually take some of the advice serious, because the community that we live in is in a shambles. It's in a wreck. And if each one of us don't take a personal responsibility to try to make it better, then we're just destined to fail as a people, as a community.
Very much so. And for me, I just, I want people to just get out there and try. And, I'll dedicate this to my grandmother. I'm going to say hello to my father, to my sister Marie Duvall, Myra, Tori Bolden, the rest of my family, and people down in Martinsville, Henry County, people from Charlottesville, people in Northern Virginia.
Did you say Martinsville?
Yeah.
Is that a real? That's the raceway, right?
Yes,
that's all?
There's a raceway there.
Yeah, I said that's about it, isn't it? And a couple of little stores around the raceway.
We got a few other things down there. We got, unfortunately, my high school's not there anymore. We're operating as a middle school or what have you. But
so you can't go back and walk through the hallowed halls.
I can walk through the hallowed halls
and see those basketball trophies.
Oh, we got the trophies are still around. If not, I'm gonna have to go.
They melted them down. They were plastic.
No, we ain't getting those trophies back. We getting those trophies back. LP Laurel Park shall shine again. We shall rise. They talk about the South shall rise, Laurel Park shall rise. I thank everybody, and shout out to everybody with the other schools. I'm not going to hate too much on all the other schools, FC, Bassett, Magna Vista, Martinsville. I hate the Bulldogs, but still.
Did you say Martinsville again?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to move on. UVA.
Gosh.
Family from UVA in Charlottesville
UVA.
area. Yes, I'm a Big East Atlantic 10 fan, but they go to UVA.
What fan are you?
I'm a Big East Atlantic 10 fan.
Is the Big East even exist anymore?
We will still be in existence, okay?
Oh, I didn't know. I thought they broke that thing up. Okay.
Well, because the ACC begged for our teams because y'all couldn't hack it anymore. But we're going to move on from that one. That's another day. Yeah, that's another day.
Yeah, and the next time I'm going to touch on that New Jersey thing you were talking about too. I don't know the difference you say in the New Jersey, the Martinsville. There's got to be a connection there.
Somewhere down the line, there was a lot of travels back in the day. I just know. But I've moved around a lot. But there's a lot of, and I met a lot of great people here in the East Coast, the West Coast, and all across the world. I've met a lot of people, and I'm very grateful. And it's enhanced my life tremendously. And it's something I always encourage people out there to get out there and meet people. But I just want to say thank you for everybody who's listening and continue on. We're going to have another great show next Tuesday. I want to shout out to Legacy Internet Radio and thank everybody for helping us out. Big Rube, Marcus J. Monday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Ain't No High Stepping with Marcus J. and Big Rube. We also have Larissa P. and Jay Grizzy on the Green Room 2.0 on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9.
Definitely got to thank Rube because he was sitting here tonight just relaxing and listening to us.
Yeah, I thank him very much.
No comments given,
and, He could have joined. Okay. Big Rube, did you want to say anything to any of this?
Yeah, he wants to say that the Lakers are 0-1.
Ooh, that's a shot.
Well, hopefully he'll be back next week. They'll be 0-3.
Hey, we'll keep that going. At that, we're gonna. He's just happy they make it to the playoffs. So he did say I have to give him credit where credit's due. I kept saying they weren't going to make it, but they did make it, so I had to give him credit where credit was due. And I'm proud of him for sticking. You know, there's a lot of people who are bandwagon fans, and he's not a bandwagon fan. He'll sit there, live and die, and bleed with that. So I'm proud of him for doing that.
Can I get one more shout out?
Sure.
To one of our listeners, my sister ATN.
Hello. How you
Troy.
doing?
My niece and Maya Day. They stood in and hung in there throughout the show, so I
thank
appreciate them listening,
Ooh.
taking the time out of their busy day.
I need to meet with them. I thank them very kindly. You know, I love to meet the ladies. I appreciate everything. If they're married, I'm sorry. But I appreciate everything and everybody's out there. And I just want to tell you something. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that a little bit of extra is given. Sometimes you got to step out there and keep pushing, because every path has its puddles, and you have to keep pushing and see what happens in life. I can tell you, I've gone through those travels and troublous situations, but you got to keep moving forward. And as long as you keep doing that, you will make it. And I thank y'all very much for everybody for taking the time out, and with these closing thoughts. And take time out to be good to each other and love each other and appreciate what you have, because sometimes there's a lot of people out there who just don't have what you have, and you think you're struggling. There's a lot of other people who are struggling a lot worse. So be good to each other, love each other, and be grateful. You think so?
Definitely.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great night and everything with us, and enjoy yourself.
Tell them we're going to see them at the same time next week.
Oh, you know what? Thank you. Facebook.com/Enliven Radio. MixLR/Enliven Radio. Same time next week from 7 to 9. We have some nice, good music playing ahead of time from 6 to 7. And if you have any other questions, please comment on our Facebook page. Email us at enlivenradio@gmail.com. ENLIVEN radio radio@gmail.com. And we'll have some show notes posted on the page as well. Thank you, Mr. Sincere. I wouldn't have made it without you.
Thank you, man.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.